Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to 4Digit World Cup, where we are finally here with the winners bracket final between Russia and Hong Kong. It has been a long week, it seems like, to get here. The time has finally come. We're going to find out which of these teams is going to advance on to the top two. Some is going to drop down to that losers bracket final. Play an opponent that they're not even going to know about for another week and a half. This is a matchup of the two teams that I think have hands down been the most dominant in this tournament so far. Russia has looked extremely good, taking down several top teams such as South Korea, the Netherlands, and Brazil. Hong Kong, meanwhile, has looked just simply dominant in taking down teams like Taiwan, Sweden, and China. Unders losing only 5 points across 4 matches to make it to this winners bracket final. Russia on the left, the team made up of Okinotori, Suzuha, Trigger, DJ Iban, God of Death, Kinoro, Kamachi Baka, and Zombir. And Hong Kong on the right, Nakami Itsuki, A21, Chaos-Let's, Dragbit 2, Hellatom L225, Minecraft 570, Muji, and Saku. Already going through the ban phase, we're rushing this one through, no pun intended. So we already have everything in for the bans. Russia first ban, Hard Rock 2, Gengai Ozofun. Hong Kong responding with a Nomad 2 ban, that's Lemuria. A lot of these players will have seen that one before in tournaments. It's been a very popular one over the past year. Russia's second banning, double time number 2, Izayoi Sakura, another pretty well-known pick. And Hong Kong banning out Nomad for No Good Magia. So we're getting a couple of Nomad bans here from Hong Kong, a Hard Rock, and a double time ban from Russia. Getting through that ban phase very quickly. See Hong Kong with the first pick of this match, taking Hidden 3. So that is going to be Acid Burst, the first pick of our winners final here today. Another map that I would expect a fair number of people to have seen before. This one personally takes me back to Yaz's Summer Cup, I believe 2018. What is it? If I'm correctly remembering the difficulty, where you saw Young Hard Rock FCing this one in a match in that tournament. One of the more insane plays that we'd seen at the time. Here it's in the hidden pool, and it makes for a 6.5 star, 2-minute long, 180 BPM hidden pick that is very tech focused. A lot of tricky sliders, a lot of tricky patterns. Very tough little map to get started on. Make sure that the players are really in the right spot going into this match, feeling properly prepared and ready to go. We will quickly be moving into this one to get things started. I believe Hong Kong really wants this match to move fast, even though they spare this time. It's going to be Komachi Baka, Kinoro, Okinotori, and Zombie for Russia, Chaos-Let's, Saku, Hellatom Lol 225, and A21 for Hong Kong. And this is the Hong Kong first pick of the match. Hopefully, they're coming ready to play here on one of the very tricky maps in this pool. We're gonna find break early on from Komachi Baka. A bunch of breaks of their own. For that first couple combo. Zombie though breaking as well for Russia, so Hong Kong starting off doing pretty well in this. This is a very tough place to start this match. Not a super comfortable type of map. A lot of slightly awkward burst and stream finger control patterns, a lot of tough sliders. But Hong Kong so far showing that they are more than up to the challenge here. Peloton maintaining their only FC, but the other players all with similarly high combos, just very, very early breaks in that intro, it looks like. This is kind of what you want to do, I think, at the beginning of a match, too. If it's a map like this that you're very comfortable with, you know, kind of suss out your opponent by picking something that's really tricky in several different kind of tech facets rather than raw mechanics. This is the kind of pick that you want to potentially look into throughout the match. He breaks from Kinoro, matched by 821, but still Peloton Castlets and Saku from Hong Kong doing quite well here, maintaining a 300,000 point lead. And really, you know, Hong Kong, I think you can make the argument that their skill cap for maps like this is probably higher than Russia's, as Russia almost full combo resets, followed by Peloton and Castlets. But with players like 821 and Peloton, you have a really, really high skill cap. And in fact, Saku clearly as well as Castlets, as Saku is the only player left maintaining a combo here near the end. So Hong Kong is going to feel very comfortable. This is going to be a very solid first pick here. They're going to win it by 800,000+ points. And yeah, this is a Saku map. It's also a map that clearly Helitomo and Castlets can do well on also. And that is a very quick first point for Hong Kong. Maybe just wanted to pick the short maps, you know, hard to say. But that was an 800k, 750k victory. And Russia not having the greatest of times. I mean, 3 out of the 4 members from Hong Kong had better scores than anyone on Russia. Okinotori coming the closest at 645k, but the second lowest score, excuse me, for Hong Kong was 682k. So very good first pick from them. Like I said, trying to get this match clearly going in a hurry and picking a map that kind of suits that, where it really comes at you fast and never lets up. As we see the A rank from Peloton, best combo from Saku. So very good first pick there, I think, from Hong Kong. Totally something that they were much more comfortable with than their opponents, and it's going to lead Russia into a tough pick of their own, because this Hong Kong roster is one that really has very few, if any, perceivable weaknesses. Their skill cap is higher than pretty much any team in this tournament, and they're very well-rounded. They can play the mechanics stuff, they can play the awkward stuff, they can play all mods pretty comfortably. So, very tough team to pick and ban as well as play against. And we'll have to see if Russia's up to the challenge. I think they're in a tough position in this matchup, but they've looked very good in the tournament so far, so they're just going to look to pick into their strengths. They're going to look to see if Okinotori and Komachi Baka can continue to carry them on kind of their specialty picks. And Russia going to start off with Premod 1, which is Zendaimimon, the Epic Making difficulty. Discovered that this was actually updated yesterday, but we decided that it was determined to not have increased appreciably in difficulty, and none of the patterns are like super inted or anything. Nothing seems to be game breaking in it, so not a troublesome update at all. I think it's kind of funny, actually. You know, this map was picked last Monday, right when the pool was released, and it got updated Saturday midday. So fortunately, there hadn't been any matches already played, so that we'd have like matches played on different versions of this map, since due to the reschedules to next week for a lot of these matches, avoided any such issues like that. This one, an M2U track, 6.21 stars with no mod, actually 6.3 stars with no mod now. I believe that has not been updated on the sheet, so if anything has changed about the map stats, it's going to reflect the old values. But I believe it's 6.30 stars with no mod now, so they're probably around 6.6-ish stars hard rock. It's 48 seconds, 130 BPM. You know, I'm curious to see if we end up with Russia picking into kind of alt type of picks. You saw Hong Kong banning out the alt no mod, and there are some other options for maps kind of along those lines. So it'll be interesting to see if that's what Russia wants to try to pick into based on Hong Kong's bans. But they're going to go into the free mod, so we're going to see minimum 1 hidden, 1 hard rock per team. As we load in, we'll get to find out who those mod players are. Waiting on the last 3 here. A cheeky little panic, perhaps. Here. This is going to be hidden on Okinotori Hard Rock on DJ Eban with Nomad on Komachi Baka and Kinoro. Meanwhile, hidden on Saku Hard Rock on A21 with Nomad on Castlets and Helatonlal. Kind of spiritual successor in terms of circle size to last week's Fremud one, which was also smaller circles. This one's CS3. Makes it a little more comfortable for the Hard Rock players. As we get into this intro here. All players holding. Small accuracy lead, it looks like, for Russia. Not by much, though. Really gonna be pretty even. We've got Okinotori and Komachi Baka holding very high AC, as well as Helatonlal and Saku. Hard Rock AC difference showing up a little bit early on here. A21 struggling a bit with his AC in this intro, but yeah, it's pretty short, 2 minutes 48 seconds, and the first third of that here, as you can see, is built up just kind of some free combo for the players. Still not a single break to be found. See if everybody can make it through kind of the awkward full doubles and some of the 1/4 and 1/6 stuff in this. And they don't. A21 with a break for Hong Kong, but Okinotori and Kinoro both with breaks for Russia. Komachi Baka and DJ Eban going to be left to do what they can here, but Hong Kong with 3 FCs still alive as they make it through those triangles. They will eventually take this lead back. Their accuracy, as we saw, was a little bit lower. A21 struggling with that aspect. But there it does flicker on over, so as long as Castlets... Really just Castlets and Helatonlal need to hold on, and Saku's just kind of, or, you know, 2 of the FCs need to hold on, the other one's kind of a backing combo. And Russia now has full combo reset. Kinoro, Komachi Baka, and DJ Eban all breaking. Already past halfway in, and Castlets and Komachi Baka just missed that first note after that little break. Whoopsie. Whoopsie. That was a bit of a blunder. Hong Kong would like to have that moment back, I think, but so would Russia, so all's fair in love and war, I guess. We're going to come into the last quarter of the map. It's going to be reaching up toward a 300,000 point lead here for Team Hong Kong. And they're just going to try to close this out at the ending. This lead is going to end up being unassailable pretty quickly. I think it is, in fact, 400k. Just that full combo reset really damaging any hopes Russia had of winning this pick when the 3 members of Hong Kong held on. And A21, for his credit, you know, did find the break earlier on, but despite his axe struggles, about 3% lower than his counterpart DJ Eban on Hard Rock, has managed to build up a pretty solid combo again. You know, we know, like we said, his raw mechanical skill is just so high, you know. You find one break, it's not really the end of the world because, you know, he's able to just build that combo back up, and there's a 700,000 point lead for Hong Kong. And a 2-0 victory with an early break point. The FC coming in from Saku, just a late slider break from Helatonlal, and S rank from Castlets as well. So 1 break amongst 4 players for Hong Kong. I suppose the argument could be made that this map was maybe a little easy. Some of those patterns not as hard as you would maybe expect from a finals pool, but you know, you've still got to come out in FC, and that's what Hong Kong almost did. They got 1 FC, 1 late slider break, 1 S rank, or 2 S ranks, I suppose. DJ Eban the only S rank for Russia, and you know that's the concern you run into on late round pools. This Hong Kong team just has such ridiculous skill cap, and they have really good combo game players. You know, you've got A21, you've got Helatonlal, Saku, really just insanely strong at combo, and Castlets as well. I don't want to denigrate his performance, obviously, because he did come in with an S rank. So a lot of players who are just really good at incredibly high-end skill cap stuff, which is tough to compete against, especially if you're not on your absolute best day for whatever reason. So Russia falling behind the early break point, but it is not the end of the world. It is a best of 13. There's a lot of time left in this match. You know, it's interesting kind of coming from seeing matches like in Corsace where you have the best of 7 sets format, where you play up to 3 best of 7 sets with the map draft style versus, you know, just a straight best of 13. And, you know, it kind of makes you think about the differences in how you go about your draft. You pick and ban a lot differently when you have a short set and you know you're going to have another opportunity if it doesn't go well, versus a match like this where, you know, the early 2-0 lead doesn't mean you're completely done like it would mean you're, you know, kind of losing in a set, but it does mean that you didn't have a great first pick. And over the course of a match, you've got to learn to adapt in a best of 13 versus adapting in a more shorter setting. We're going to go into a DT pick here for Hong Kong. It's going to be on the bounce. Somebody call up Pokey_CS. I'm sure he is very excited for this one. This is a more interesting DT picks. DT number 3. It is just over a minute long, 225 BPM CS5. But it is an old map. This one comes to us straight out of, I want to say like 2009 or something. Yeah, 2009. So you kind of know what you're getting into when you go into really old DT stuff, and I do think both these teams have pretty decent rosters for this type of pick. Yeah, Russia gonna bring in Zombie and Trigger. Hong Kong is gonna keep their same roster with Saku, Chaos, and A21. So we'll see if that roster just can play everything, I guess, because it can play free mod, it can play hidden. So how about some DT? Get into map number 3 here. See if Russia can get an early quick breakpoint back, or if Hong Kong can consolidate it for the speedy little 3-0 lead. This is going to be one of those old maps with lots of weird finger control linear patterns that are very tricky, and already a 4-way combo reset for Russia. Meanwhile, Chaos-Let's A21 and Helatomla all holding on for Hong Kong in this intro. You're going to see more breaks than combos in a map like this, honestly. This is something that most players are not going to be very comfortable with, and it's just very difficult to begin with. In fact, combo being built back up a little bit here by Russia. Zombie and Trigger make for a very scary DT roster. They're both very quick. They're both good with finger control. And Zombie maintaining 98, almost 99% accuracy. Oh, but they both do find breaks. Meanwhile, Caslet, Saku, and Tom are all holding on. So that was the chance that Russia had to bring this one back, and it is now basically thrown away. This map being so short, Hong Kong is going to take it. Made up a big enough lead through this third of the map, and Saku is just absolutely still gaming. Finally does break. But that's going to do that for that. As we said, a very, very short map. And Hong Kong with another resounding victory. That is 3 points in a row, and that one 603,000 points. They are looking pretty strong here so far in the first couple picks of this match. No real standout there. I mean, 300 combo, 91 AC from Saku. The 97.8 AC from Zombie is probably the most impressive of anything. He had the third highest score in the map after Tom and Chaos-Let's. But that accuracy, pretty far ahead of anybody else. Very impressive stuff from him, unfortunately. Russia just didn't have the best performance across the board. That's such a hard map to do well on. Russia gonna be on the back foot here. I mean, this is a tough spot to be in already for them, because we've seen 3 very different kinds of maps. You know, you've got kind of the tech finger controls, slider aim with acid burst. You've got more of an alt style pick with Zendai Miman, and then you have the finger control linear old DT and on the balance, and Hong Kong has looked very good on all 3 of those. So Russia gonna have to switch it up maybe again to try to find something that they can win against Hong Kong here. Russia is going to choose Hard Rock number 3 as that selection. That is Nekomata Master's Painful Fate, the Cloyd's Extra Difficulty. This one is the Small Circle Hard Rock here. It is CS 6.5. Just about 2 minutes long, 192 BPM. So continuing this theme of very short picks in this match. I feel like, you know, there's something to be said for Nekomata Master CS 6.5 Hard Rocks. That's just kind of traditional, I guess. A lot of poolers like using their stuff for 6.5 picks. They've got plenty of CS5 maps to choose from. Or, well, maps of their CS 6.5 maps of their songs. I guess it's not like Nekomata Masters mapping them themselves, but Russia has traditionally, throughout this tournament, looked pretty good on 6.5 stuff. I don't have the statistics at hand on previous 6.5 picks, but it's something that, you know, Precision Aim is something that they're typically fairly solid on. We'll see, you know, they've got to figure out a pick here to try to get into this match. You know, when you fall behind that early 3-0, yeah, it's not yet halfway home for Hong Kong, but it starts to feel a little scary if you lose a couple break points early on, especially when none of the maps have really been close. Closest map was the one that we just saw on the bounce, and even then was 600k. So Russia at least wants us to be close. I mean, this has been pretty bad stuff to start off for them today. So they're going to have Zombie, DJ Eban, Kamachibaka, Okinotori in for this one to try and recapture some momentum here. Meanwhile, Helatomlaw, Castlets, Dragbit2, and A21. So the first, I believe first player change here for Hong Kong. Bringing in Dragbit2 in place of Mr. Saku. Dragbit2, of course, the artist formerly known as somebody else. That is, I want to say Loli Lover. Is that right? Or Emeru, excuse me, it's Emeru. I apologize. I can't remember my Hong Kong players. The artist formerly known as Emeru, making their first appearance in this match. But a couple early breaks from players, Zombie, Helatomlaw, and Dragbit2. Castlets A21 holding combo for Hong Kong. DJ Eban and Kamachibaka as... Wow, that's a full combo reset from Russia. Okay, so not much combo left, just Castlets on Hong Kong side. He'll be able to bring this one back on his own because the score gap is just not that big, and he's got double the next closest combo. Wow, everyone really struggling with that section of the map except for him. Castlets Precision Aim moments currently are occurring. And Hong Kong has quite the advantage here. Castlets with 200 combo lead over Zombie. Helatomlaw with about a 50 combo lead over Okinotori. The others slightly ahead of their counterparts as well. And it looks like Hong Kong going to be probably taking another point here. We just got the last quarter of the map to go. Castlets does need to hold. Zombie does have a solid combo that can bring this one back if Castlets breaks. But don't know if that's going to happen. I think Castlets is just too good. Coming to the closing moments of the map. Couple breaks coming in near the ending there on some streams, but not from the Hong Kong side. And they went away from Helatomlaw, but Zombie, Kamachibaka, everyone doing just fine there for, or doing the breaking thing there for Russia. Hong Kong doing just fine. That is an FC from Castlets. He is looking very strong today, and that is another break point. That is a 4-0 lead. I guess Castlets just really wants to win this match, dude, because I'm 15 years old apparently. He came to play, dude. Top score on Painful Fate, top score on the bounce. Very solid score on Zendaimon, and second top score on Acid Burst. Castlets, you know, just, I guess. The fuck? It did the thing. All right, we'll be right back here. I'm gonna see if joining a different lobby and rejoining this one fixes this issue. Sorry about that. I couldn't get it to go away. I apologize. Okay, I think we're fixed. So the 4-0 lead now for Team Hong Kong. They're feeling very good, I think, so far in this match, getting some very good picks for them and performing well in their opponent's picks as well. And they're going to go into Tenohira de Odoru by Soko Ninaru, hidden number 1, as their third pick of the match. This is a map that I think people will be very familiar with. Again, you know, this was OWC 2019 finals? Question mark? Finals? Or semifinals? Yeah, semifinals. OWC 2019. It was Hard Rock won there. Obviously, going into hidden here in finals, so dropping down a little bit, but still a very tricky map. It is quite fast. It's 200. I mean, it's only 215 BPM, but it feels faster because it just kind of never lets up at you. It throws a lot of streams and aim at your face, so it's not like fast in terms of BPM, but in the sense of kind of just being a quick-paced map based on the way it's mapped. It is 6.62 stars, so it's one of the higher star rating picks. In the middle of the road, I guess, but the highest of the hiddens, higher than any of the free mods, higher than several of the no mods. This one will be, I believe, the longest map we'll have played so far, 3 minutes 12 seconds, and just 4 air 9.5 hidden. Aim and slightly higher BPM test here for the players. We'll see how they do on something a little more mechanics based. We haven't really seen much that's about the mechanics so far in this match. This one much more in that style, where it will test a lot more of your aim and your stamina over the course of the map. And already a couple of early breaks right at the beginning. Player's gonna try to kind of settle into this one after that intro ends and takes us into the first verse. So will be the first pick here for Minecraft 570, joining Saku, Helatom, and A21. Russia gonna roll with Zombie, Kinoro, Okinotori, and DJ Eben. They're gonna take a little bit of an early lead as well. Into the first KI we're gonna go, and Russia is going to have a bit of a lead here. This is something that I'm a little surprised to see Hong Kong pick into them after the way the first few maps have gone. This isn't, you know, something that we've really played anything like, as we said, so far. And Russia has traditionally looked pretty solid at the No Mod 1 kind of stuff. So an interesting pick here from Hong Kong. We'll see if it works out for them as Zombie and Saku trade a couple of breaks back and forth. Double FC on Kinoro and Okinotori, matching the AFCs on A21 and Helatom Lol. But DJ Eben with the combo advantage over Minecraft, and Helatom with a break right into this second verse. Not a place you want to break exactly halfway through the map. But Okinotori is going to follow it right up, so things are going to stay pretty even. Oh, and there's a break from Kinoro. There are no FCs left for Russia now. A21, the only FC left in the lobby, and Minecraft 570 now has a huge combo to back it up. And there goes DJ Eben as well. Russia has kind of just reset here in this second verse. You hate to see it, but that's going to give Hong Kong a mammoth combo lead. And they will look to run with it through this portion of the map, because there's just some combo to be built up here, and Hong Kong will say, thank you, sir. I will gladly take that. Into the next Ki. And the lead is going to start to grow here, especially with another break from Okinotori. Zombie, the only kind of glue trying to hold Russia together on this one, and it's just not going to do it. He is matching the second lowest combo of Hong Kong with Saku. A double break comes in from Minecraft and from Helatom. That is not the best. Hong Kong with a 200k advantage with a little bit of combo here left to come. A21 and Saku going to try and bring it home. The ending here. I think they've got enough combo that they'll be okay regardless, though. Just the ending to play, and A21 going to see if he can close out a Loac FC here. Saku with the late break. And there goes the A21 combo. But there goes everyone else's combo as well from the Russia side. So Hong Kong going to be fine on this one. And they're going to take the point, and a 5-0 lead now. This one is getting out of hand in a hurry. If you didn't know better, you'd think this was just some early round match because Hong Kong is wiping the floor with their opponent so far. 890k on A21, the best score in the lobby by 270,000 points. Was really the margin of victory was A21's score because nobody else had anything near that, and Kinoro and Zombie both were at 600k plus, so that could have been very different if it were not for a player like A21 on the Hong Kong roster, but fortunately there he is. Interesting, we have the margin of victory in these points has decreased on every single map. Gone from 756k, 696k, 603k, 441k, 220k. So I suppose by that logic, the next pick, Hong Kong wins by like 100k on whatever map Russia chooses here. And yeah, that was the first real carry we've seen from A21 so far. But I mean, it's not like he's been playing badly. He had the second highest score on Peaceful Fate. But actually, no, he has kind of been playing badly compared to his team. He bottom scored Acid Burst. He bottom scored Zentai Mimon. He bottom scored On the Balance. So yeah, that was his first like really good showing. Now that I look back at it, he had bottom scored three of the 4 maps before that one. Okinotori writing Russian characters. I think he actually meant Nomad 6. I think that's Nomad. I think that's NM. I think that is what we're getting here. So it's gonna be Chaser XX. It's the Utopia difficulty. It's really, really hard. But this pick kind of reeks a little bit of desperation here for Russia because this map is a considerable amount of RNG for a lot of players. This is not the type of thing that most people are going to feel super confident and comfortable 100% of the time. This is a map that you can miss anytime you play it. So hopefully for Russia, they know something that I don't about their ability to play this map, but this just feels like a Hong Kong map. I mean, Saku Helatomlaw on freaking Chaser XX and Caslets in A21, like this screams Hong Kong in all honesty. But Russia's gonna have Zombie, Kinora, Okinotori, and Trigger trying to prove me wrong. Obviously, Okinotori is the one on their roster that I think is most suited to this type of pick. He is really, really good at very awkward and gimmick types of maps. So if anybody's going to carry this for Russia, I think it is going to be Okinotori, but I don't know about this one, man. I think they're kind of at the point in this match where nothing they pick feels like it's going to be something that's actually in their favor, because that's what playing Hong Kong does to you in this tournament. It's kind of like playing USA last year in OWC, where they're just good at everything and you feel kind of outclassed a lot of the time. So you fall behind that early advantage and you have trouble with your mental state, or you have trouble with kind of just finding good picks. And you end up having to throw caution to the winds a little bit. But so far, not going too badly for either team. The score staying pretty close. A couple early breaks from Caslets, as well as Saku. But that is a 3-way combo reset for Russia. Zombie, Kinora, and Trigger all missing. As we expected, Okinotori holding combo well, but Helatomlaw and A21 both FCing for Hong Kong. And to be honest, this was not a map that I would know A21 for. I don't think of him as being this kind of combo map gamer, but despite his low accuracy, he is doing just that. And into the cool part we go. He kind of, they're 4 notes, but it plays like a single and a triple, and that's a full combo reset for Hong Kong. Okinotori, the only FC left, he can actually look to solo carry this one for Russia. He's got another about 250, 300,000 points he can make up, and that's about the lead for Hong Kong. So this could get very interesting. If Okinotoriev sees this, he's in a position to actually carry this. That lead is dropping to 100k, but he finally does break, and that's going to put an end to this point. And that is going to be Hong Kong taking a 6-0 lead. This is just disgusting. Okinotori is going to end up top scoring this by a big margin. As I said, they literally picked that for him, and he was in a position to carry, just the unfortunate late breaks. Best combo by 200, best score by a couple 100,000, but unfortunately it just did not end up mattering because Hong Kong had carried those combos too far into the map, and they were able to just maintain that lead despite everyone breaking all over the place. That could have been really interesting, though. If Okinotori FC is even with that accuracy, it's 900k or so. The margin of victory 185. I was not far wrong about that margin of victory on that pick, guys. I tell you what, I think that was a pretty decent prediction, but it is still a Hong Kong pick, and they are up now 6-0. This one, 45 minutes into the match, and it is already match point here for Hong Kong. This one looking grim for Russia, especially with it being Hong Kong's pick coming up here next. All right. And just waiting on the last pick here, potentially from Hong Kong, if they win this one. And they haven't really shown any indication that they won't. If they win this one, it is all over. I don't know what you're supposed to do about this Hong Kong team on these late round pools, man. I'm very interested to see some of the remaining teams when they play their losers bracket matches next week, because I think USA has a similar skill floor to Hong Kong, but I don't think their skill cap is as high. So, you know, we'll see. I think, if anyone, they're the best contender to try and put a stop to the Hong Kong menace. But it's gonna be a tough team to beat in a grand final where you have to win 2 best-of-13s against them, assuming they finish out this match. It's gonna be a Tengoku no Tojigoku pick. This is the extreme difficulty by Ignore This. Another very old one, taking us back to 2010. 5.4 stars, no mod, CS5 AR8 free mod pick. Very short, minute and 40 seconds again. So a lot of short maps in this pool, really kind of ignoring the long ones. Hong Kong, I think, maybe just intentionally with the... maybe that's just why they banned No Mod 4. They only banned it because it was the longest map in the pool. That might have had something to do with it. So we'll get another very old map, and we'll see if it looks any better for Russia than On the Bounce did. To just decide on their roster and see if they can't close this thing out in style here. Looks like Russia's pretty set here. DJ Iban, Komachi Baka, Okinotori, and Trigger. I do not see a player in slot 8, so the GLHF... there it is. It's going to be Saku. So we castle it Saku, Helatamla, and Dragobit 2. We get Emiru in for Hong Kong once again. Leave, that means we should be good to go. Presumably Okinotori hidden, DJ Iban or Komachi Baka Hard Rock. Castlet's hidden? No, Castlet doesn't play hidden. Who's hidden in this? Emiru? Actually sure who plays hidden in a pick like this for Hong Kong. No 821 ins, we don't have the obvious Hard Rock. But we'll find out here. Castlet's Hard Rock. Oh, they're overmodding. Wow, they're really overmodding. Okay, Castlet's Dragbit 2 and Helatamla all Hard Rock. Saku hidden. Meanwhile, for Russia, you've got DJ Eben, Hard Rock, Kamachi Baka, Hard Rock, and Okinotori hidden. So the only no mod in this is going to be on Trigger. Lots of mods all over the place for the old style, somewhat linear CS5 AR8 pick. And honestly, I mean, again, this is the type of map that Russia can probably play just fine. Of course, as I say that, Trigger is going to find a break, but he's matched by Saku just moments later. And Komachi Baka as well as Hello Tomlal. So both teams finding a couple breaks in the early going. So your Dragbit 2 and Castlets holding FCs against DJ Eben and Okinotori. This is again going to be looking like the Okinotori show for Russia. DJ Eben, though, holding a very good accuracy Hard Rock play. Excuse me. But the score just bouncing back and forth between the teams as it is 2 FCs to 2. The other combos very similar behind them. Will it come down to maybe some accuracy advantage here? Ackley actually favoring Russia, but the higher modifier from Hard Rock helping out Hong Kong here. Double Hard Rock holding FCs means they do have a little bit higher score on those players. You see the slightly lower score from Okinotori, but that is a break from Saku. Trigger and Komachi Baka still holding on. Could this be the first point on the board here for Russia? The lead's going to flicker on over to them. Oh, no, it's not, as Komachi Baka finds an unfortunately timed break right near the end. Just the very ending of this to go. This could still go either which way depending on the accuracy at the last moments here. This is going to be the closest map we've seen. Saku, Trigger both die at the ending, and Hong Kong is going to hold on. And that will do it. The closest point of the match, but it comes at the last pick, and it comes with a Hong Kong victory alongside it regardless. So, yeah. That was gross. I don't know what Hong Kong just did to poor Russia, but that was like... That was kind of disgusting. So, that's the 45-minute 7-0 from Hong Kong. Can we just kind of give them the badge right now, or... I don't really know what to say about this match. Hong Kong was just better than Russia at literally everything. It wasn't even a matter of like some unlucky breaks here and there. Hong Kong was just better, and that's all there is to say about it. The picks were good, the bands were good, the performance was good. Everyone from Hong Kong just looked insane today. Chaoslets popped off, but they really just kind of took turns there. A21 had his moments, Hello Tomla had his moments, but man, Chaos, I can't say enough about how well Chaoslets played in this match, as well as Saku in those early maps. That was really impressive stuff from Hong Kong. And I can't say I expected a sweep there. I really can't. But they're the victors 7-0. And they are going to go on to the grand finals. They are going to get a week off, as is Russia, before we get to that week, because we do have the losers bracket round 6 and 7 matches to play. So those will be next weekend, October 3rd and 4th. We'll determine our top 3 teams in the tournament. We've got China versus United States, South Korea versus Brazil. Those will be both next Saturday on the 3rd, and then the winners of those 2 matches will play each other on Sunday. So make sure to be there for those. Follow along with the stream so you can see when we go live for those matches. And otherwise, congratulations to Hong Kong on an absolutely incredible performance, a rout of Russia 7-0. And they will be advancing on to play in the grand finals. They are now guaranteed top 2 in the tournament, and I think nobody's surprised. They have been dominant in every match, and they continue to show that today. So for everyone here at 4WC, I've been this one guy. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.